Wanna be with you Because
See that? I don't know if that song did it or not.
Yeah.
That was Dwight's record.
Let's have a show of hands. Did Thunderstruck?
What was that song for those on Zoom?
AC/DC.
No, AC/DC.
What's
Okay.
half the older half?
Yes. When I was in high school,
That knows who they are.
when I was in high school playing baseball, I'd get in the batter's box and I just had like this little wiggle I would do to like, that was a big guy,
Mhm.
little wiggle to do like to relax. And the dugout would always be like, that was my like home to walk up. I don't know if I necessarily walk up, but in the batter's box song for my baseball team.
I like it. I like it. Well, I think we're fired up now. We have a jam-packed meeting, lots of good stuff today. Thank you guys for all being here in person and on Zoom. Let's take a look at the week. Tomorrow we have a 1031 End Games CE class brought to us by Equity Exchange 1031. So this is a great class. We had the basic 1031 class, we've had an advanced 1031 exchange class, and then this is like what happens at the end, right? You keep doing these 1031 exchanges and then how does it end?
Mm-hmm.
So this should be a really good class. Tina Colson from Equity Advantage is a great partner of ours and want to serve. So RSVP for that or register for that if you can. But it'll be much more advanced than like a basic 1031. It'll all be about the end games. And then on Thursday, we have our June contract mastery class. So that'll be 11 to 1:30. So 2.5 hours, the once a month June one. And that will probably be in the front conference room and we will provide lunch. So if you're a new agent, you definitely need to be there. If you want to know the contracts better, if you don't know the contracts in and out and can explain every line of it, you should also be there.
Oh, great.
Right? Any other plugs you want to give for it?
That's pretty good. I don't know if I could beat that.
Okay, yes. It won't be offered again until I think we just put it on the July calendar for like the 18th or 19th. So this is your once a month chance. And then save the date. Actually, not save the date, actually RSVP now, because it's getting closer. August 9th, 5 to 9 is going to be our annual company picnic. And we say picnic, but it's like fancier than a picnic for those who haven't been before. But you can bring your families, your kids, your significant other. We will have food, drinks, stuff for the kids to do. We'll have like yard games and like face painting. Last year we had a balloon guy. What was his name? Jim or something. He had a funny name. Do you remember
popular.
that? That was your guy.
I don't remember his name.
Oh, he was real good. At
Marcella hired him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's fun for the whole family. And it's a great time just to like celebrate together. And Tumwater's close and easy. So RSVP, you can say how many people you expect, just so we know how many kids to expect to. You might even have some like childcare helpers, so adults can have more fun. But yes, that should be fun. And then next week, this is crazy that next week is 4th of July. I don't know how. So we're going to be closed since 4th of July is a Thursday. We're going to be closed Thursday and Friday of next week. The office, you can still access the office. You know, we can still help as needed, but just we won't be here. So just make sure to bring your fob if you're coming in on those days. Hopefully everyone's going to take some time on the 4th to celebrate and be with family and friends. And then also happening next week, there is a big upgrade happening with our accounting system. Right? Is Robbie on?
Yep.
Okay, Robbie. Lots of us don't get to talk to Robbie as much as we want to talk to Robbie.
It's true.
I know. So, hi, Robbie.
Hi.
You're on the big screen. Will you tell everyone about the commission stuff that everyone needs to know for the blackout dates?
Yes, we are converting out of Winmore is a processing system that we use now into the Command accounting system that they just created. So there will be a blackout period. If you don't have your commission submitted in Command by June 30th and you have a closing between July 1st and July 8th, there's a chance your commission won't be paid because it is in that blackout transition period. So unless it's uploaded and submitted and approved by June 30th, you will not get paid until July 9th. So that should be being done anyways. You should be submitting your commissions in Command the moment you are under mutual acceptance, you're under offer. Please do not wait till closing. We use this information to track our budgeting and our closings for the month. So you should be putting in your offers and commissions within 72 hours of accepted offer.
What if it changes after inspections?
And that's okay. You can reach out to me if there's any changes. If the price changes or your commission changes, just send me an email and I'll update it for you.
So does that make sense to everyone? Like, the only reason you won't get paid is if you didn't submit your things in beforehand.
And that's only this
But we
one
still
time
process
out
them.
period.
Right.
Yeah.
And not just your documents, but you have to submit the commission information,
Mhm.
right?
So especially because we have a lot of closings, like the last day of the month, probably. So don't wait till the first, to, like, upload all your
Mhm.
stuff. So, anyways, we just want to make sure we know there's going to be somebody that didn't read this or listen to it. And we just want you to get paid for your stuff, right?
Yeah, you
That's
don't want to
it.
hold on to your money.
And if you have any questions, reach out to Robbie. She's always available, even from
Yes.
afar. She's gonna come in for the picnic in person, so, and probably work from the office that week too. So, for some of you guys who haven't seen Robbie in person in a long time, or ever met her, she'll be
I
in
know. I'm
person.
excited to see everybody.
Yay. Any other parting words before?
No, that's it. There are going to be changes within this new process that we're going to be doing, but I will have more updates about that coming in the next few weeks.
Okay, cool. I know Cole sat on the call for it yesterday and it was
Yeah.
easier and more intuitive. So,
Well, we won't have DAs anymore either, so I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but
oh,
you guys know as
cool.
soon as I know.
Awesome. We were using
Thank you.
with the Keller Williams, there was just a bunch of different older systems as everything slowly moved. So this was like the last bit to move to a full, like, command infrastructure.
Man,
Full command. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Robbie. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Do you want to tell us about mortgages and what's going on in lending? Quick update.
Okay, yeah, as I was kind of mentioning, and I have been mentioning, this market right now is super data driven, okay? And there hasn't really been any data. That's why rates have been kind of flat. I mean, I think we're up 0.01% today, so not like a huge, I guess, jump in rates, or I mean, it's been fluctuating like 0.02% over the last 4 days because there's been no data. We do get a kind of an important inflationary report on Friday. It's personal consumption. So the kind of the forecast is that it's everything is getting slightly less inflated, and that's the hope. That's what we kind of need to see. That's what the Fed needs to see to be inspired for them to be able to cut rates. So I think there's a 60% chance that they're going to cut in the fall. So I wouldn't expect anything in the summertime, and hopefully September is when they do their first cut. I mean, existing home sales have kind of fallen. Construction has kind of fallen a little bit, so we're not really heading in the right direction as far as like supply. But as we know, when there's a drop in rates, we have a huge spike in activity. So I think that's kind of what we're going to be expecting, hopefully towards the fall. But yeah, I guess unless there's a big surprise with the data, that's just we're on the trajectory, we're on the path for Fed to be able to cut into the fall. That's kind of the expectation. So wish I had better news, but I guess just expect, we're at 7% as a ballpark, but obviously there's a ton of different ways that we can structure these things. I mean, I just quoted out a 7% investment deal for somebody. I mean, that's them paying, the broker fee out of pocket. So if we're having to, pay for all of the closing costs within the rate, certainly it's going to be a higher rate versus the other way around, just having them pay for it or having seller concessions pay for it. Let's get those lower rates accordingly. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a market update for everyone.
Thank you, Brian. And we're going to go through some of the economic indicators at the second half of this meeting today too. So it'll be good to get your opinion there. But we have a special guest in town from Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Rachel Gombosch from Virtuance. She's our Virtuance rep, the photography company, who we have discounts with for you guys. She is here. She provided breakfast. So thank you, Rachel, for being here. But she's going to just do a quick presentation on video marketing and some new products that you guys have.
Yeah, awesome. You tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Where do you want?
stage is yours.
Oh, the full stage.
Get the full stage.
I'm honored.
Yes.
Mhm.
Here, I'll stand. Mine as well. And also so my head doesn't block any screens, right? Well, thank you guys so much for having me. one disclaimer, if I ramble, I'm so sorry. I am jet lagged. I got in at 1 a.m. your guys' time, which is 4 a.m. my time. So we're kicking strong. But that's okay. I'm really excited to be here. It's always fun to come see and meet everyone in person. But today we're talking specifically about video marketing. And like Corinne said, we're gonna talk about some of our video products that we can offer you guys since you are a partner with us. So go ahead and click on the next one. First and foremost, a discount for anyone who has not used us yet. Anyone here not used us? Okay, a couple of you. So we have an offer running through the end of, I believe that's next week, the 30th, which is just wild to think. Sunday. So not even a full week left. So we will have an additional partner offer after this. It's not going to be as good as this one though. So keep that in mind. Really easy. When you submit your order online, you'll just reply to your confirmation email saying, I'd like to apply the Welcome 50 promo code, and we'll get that applied for you so you can get 50% off your first order. So yeah, definitely want to make sure you take advantage of that. So I always like to provide a little bit of education when we start off with any of my educational presentations, and more so specifically about why we do certain things in marketing. So for video specifically, you want to click the next. 85% of buyers and sellers want to work with an agent who is using video marketing. So the majority of your clientele out there wants an agent who's actually taking advantage of video and all of the possibilities that video has when you're trying to sell your listing. So that's really important to know because you obviously want to make your clients happy. Just know that that's a pretty large number. So most people want you to be working with video. On top of that, 4 times properties listed with video get 4 times more inquiries than listings without video.
4 times.
4 times.
Wow.
4 times. So I'm sure we've all heard video marketing is really kind of the largest medium right now, especially when we talk about like social media and stuff. Think of the reason behind that is it actually engages more senses. So when you only use photos, you're only using your eyes, right? When you start implementing video, now you're using your eyesight, you're using your sound, right? So when you can engage more of those senses when you're trying to sell your listings, you have a better opportunity to sell them faster and potentially for more money as well. So big number there to know to help you get started and make sure that you're using video marketing to get started in those listings. Okay, so why does video actually enhance the buyer experience? So I kind of mentioned it introduces that additional sense, right? You want to incorporate as many senses as possible. So even think about like your open houses. How can you bring smell in? Maybe you bring fresh baked cookies, right? How can you engage all of those senses we have to help give someone that ability to really connect with a home? But first and foremost with video, you're actually enhancing accessibility. So when you use video, you're providing a separate medium that helps someone get a better understanding of the home. Which is really important because even though pictures are awesome and they can provide a lot of detail, when you start incorporating a lot of those other mediums when you're trying to sell your listing, you actually are enhancing the accessibility of how someone can build that emotional connection. Not only that, but obviously you can reach a lot more remote clients as well. So think about anyone who's maybe trying to relocate to this area. You're actually offering them an opportunity to walk through the property without them actually, flying out here to be in person. So it's really important that you provide that enhanced accessibility, and video can help you do that. It also helps you improve your property visualization. So like I said, photos are really great. Keep in mind, we are visual creatures. We actually most people cannot put together those photos to figure out the layout of the property, right? So even though your photos might walk through room by room, people still have a really hard time understanding how a property is laid out. What is the foyer connected to? Where's the kitchen? Is it in the front or the back of the home? So when you use video marketing, you can actually help provide that additional information to improve that property visualization. Again, specifically when someone is online. Now, if they're there in person, they're going to get that real world experience. But video can really help you improve that connection. And the more information you're providing to that prospect, the better understanding they're going to have of the property. When someone is more informed, they're going to make more informed and better decisions on the property. Which can really, again, just help you to sell that home. Can help you build out that emotional connection. So again, when you want to build an emotional connection with someone, you also need to provide a lot of information. So like I said, you want to engage those senses. And so when you start engaging all of those senses, including sight and sound, you can actually help someone build a better, deeper connection with a property because you're essentially showing them what it would be like to live in that home. And video can help you do that as well. And then with all of that, it can help them with, oh, improved decision-making. So like I mentioned before, we only make decisions based on how much information we actually have. So I'm sure we've all felt this if you think back on a lot of big decisions you've needed to make. If you do not have enough information at the forefront and when you need to come down to that deadline to decide, if you don't have all the information, odds are that prospect, right, that potential buyer is not going to go with the property because they just don't feel like they're fulfilled in the amount of information they need on the property. So when you're providing a lot of that up front, it can help them be more concise with their decisions, can help improve that back and forth, right? So it can help with that overall improved decision making to help you sell that property. Now, we kind of talked about how it benefits the buyers, right, your prospects, but how can video actually benefit you as a real estate professional? So one, it's going to help you get a wider reach, right? The more reach you have, the more potential prospects you can get. So video is really great, especially with all of these social platforms out there, right? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if you want to go on there. You can actually get a wider reach by using video because also they're more engaging. So keep in mind, the majority of the social platforms have pretty much announced in either their CEO talking, if you follow any of the platforms to keep up with what items they're pushing out, a lot of them are going to be pushing out video this year. Video is the #1 medium. So it's going to be really important that if you want that additional reach on your social channels, that you are tapping into video marketing. And that doesn't necessarily have to just be your listing, even though that's what we're talking about. That can also be some of those personalized videos, you talking into the camera. There's a lot you can do with video marketing specifically that helps you reach that larger audience. Increased engagement. So I know I've already said this, but you're engaging those senses. So the more senses you can engage, the more engagement you can get on those videos. Like I said too, these platforms are going to be pushing out video marketing. And so you want to make sure that you're pushing out that content that is going to get the most engagement. Video is the piece that's doing that right now. The more people that are interacting with your content, the more likely there are for you to get more prospects through the door. So you want people engaging with any of that content you're creating. Video can help you do that. Stronger market differentiation. So we did a study in 2023, a marketing study, and determined and found out that 95% of real estate professionals are using professional photos, which is awesome. I love to hear that, especially coming from a photography company. But what that means for you is that professional photos is now the bare minimum. You have to do more to engage your audience. So if you start utilizing video, and not only video, 3D tours, floor plans, you can actually help build a stronger market differentiation for yourself than those agents who are just using photos. We won't even talk about that 5%, it's not even using professional photos. But know that professional images are really now the expectation and the baseline. And so if you're only doing that, you're probably not doing enough still. So there are more content elements you need to tap into. Video can help you do that. And then again, better showcasing properties. Like I said, most people can't connect the dots. So what you're doing with video is you can help answer a lot of people's questions or a lot of your prospects' questions at the forefront, right? So if you only use photos, maybe I then come back to you and I'm like, hey, like, how's the layout? Is this connected to here? Where are the bedrooms? Is the laundry on the first floor? Is it on the second floor, right? If you use video marketing along with 3D tours, floor plans and stuff, you can actually answer a lot of your prospects' questions before they even come to see the property in person. So again, when they walk through the door, they're actually in a better position to make a more informed decision, which is exactly what you want. So again, better showcasing those properties. And with all that, it leads to higher conversion rates for you, which essentially means more prospects, more potential offers for that property, potentially even some bidding wars, which we all love, right? With those offers. So again, when you start utilizing video to the best of its ability, you can actually increase your business. Now, at Virtuance, we have a couple video marketing solutions. I wouldn't be a true partner if I didn't talk about our products. Smile. So we have a couple different marketing solutions. We can wait till we go through all these before we show any examples. So the first is going to be our HD Reel YouTube videos. This is pretty much just a slideshow of your HD Reel images. It's really great, especially if you are just trying to start in video marketing, right? This is like an enhanced feature, so you can just add that onto your package. And we'll put all of those into a YouTube ready video for you that again, you can start sharing to those social channels. So this is kind of our simplest video that you can tap into. Next is our aerial videos. So we do aerial photos and we do aerial drones, drone videos. So we do have FAA compliant drone pilots. We put this together in a really pretty video. We put some nice gentle background music to it and make it a good photo or video for you to share out to any of those social platforms. So. And then this is our newest product, which we're really excited about. We just launched in April, so it really is new. It's still only in select markets. So Portland is one of them, which is really awesome. You guys were one of our first markets that we actually launched this in. So our video walkthrough is exactly what it sounds like. Our trained photographers go in, they have the gimbal, they are literally walking through the property, again, helping to provide those connections and the details needed to help you sell that home. We take this, we put some nice background music to it, we send it out to you. Just as a little tidbit too, so this walkthrough video comes in a horizontal format, which is great for YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, but we are dabbling with a social media upgrade so we can actually turn this into something that's in a vertical format for you. So would love to talk with you guys after about ideas, what you would really look for in a social media video like that. Is it okay if we just shrink the video down to fit? So we'd love to have some conversations with you guys about that potential upgrade and get your input before that type of product gets released. Walkthrough videos are going to be 1 to 3 minutes, just depending on the size of the property. But we do try to keep them short as well. I think that's the first one we can start our example with.
What are your other sizes or lengths of video? Are you suggesting?
Most of the videos are all going to be like 3 minutes. So if we do the social media upgrade though, it's going to be the main spaces. This is an example of when you walk in left, you've got your right, that room, bathroom. And I mean, unless anyone wants to see the other examples, I'm happy to show you like the slideshow video or the aerial, but I think you kind of have an
Get it?
understanding of what those are.
Yeah.
So I won't go through any of those.
What's the cost to add-ons like each of those?
So I actually don't have the YouTube or the aerial off the top of my head. I can look those up. Walkthrough video, I think we have 2 different types. We have one that's interior spaces only. And then we have one that's interior with exterior spaces. So if you have like a really nice pool, really nice backyard, really nice outdoor amenity type stuff, you'll want to probably do the outdoor spaces too, right? To really highlight some of those features. The standard interior, I believe, is $198. And then I honestly forget what it bumps up to when it goes to the outdoor, but I can look that up for you guys.
And our agent's discount
Yeah,
apply on
so your
everything.
guys' discount does apply to this, so you get that 10% off all of our products, which includes that walkthrough video. So yeah, $198, and then you get 10% off of that. And then also anyone again who hasn't used us yet, you can actually apply the 50% off to that. So the 50% off your first order is to any of our products. It's literally just on your order. So you can really take that to your advantage and test out some of the products that we have if you haven't used us before. Awesome. So that's pretty much the end of of my spiel for you guys, but I always like to give stuff away. So we're gonna, of course, do free shoots. So I'm thinking, let's do 3
Ooh,
between our online and in person. So
I
a
like
couple of
it.
items. You can either scan this QR code and fill out the short form. For you guys who have a sheet in front of you that also has a QR code. If the form for whatever reason is not working, sometimes when everyone scans it at once, it gets overwhelmed. I do have a sign-in sheet, so I can just pass that around for anyone in person. So feel free to fill that out or just scan and fill that form out on the.
Are you
website.
gonna draw it now or later? Just curious.
I'll have to draw it later just because I have to go into our back system. To
Okay,
pull
cool.
who fills out that form.
Cool.
But I'll try to let you guys know by the end of the day today, the winners will get an email and then I'll also email you guys.
Awesome. 3
and let you
winners.
know.
Thank you, Rachel. That's so
Yeah.
That's really cool.
nice. That's great.
I love giving you free stuff.
Yeah. And then, you know, the reason we partnered with Virtuance initially was Dwight and I both used Virtuance for our photography. 'Cause it's like so easy and they do a good
consistent.
job and
Mhm.
consistent and
Mhm.
affordable. So,
And we're always improving. So if there's something you guys notice that you're like, hey, I would really like it if you did this or this part of your process was easier, please let us know. It is an open feedback room, and we want to make sure that we're supporting you guys how you need to be supported. So the only way we can do that though is if you provide us good, bad, and ugly feedback.
Yeah.
So please let us know of any ways we can improve on anything.
awesome, Rachel. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Leave that up for another sec just to make sure everyone got a chance to register for the
Yeah.
drawing.
Yes, we do Matterport and we do Zillow 3D tours. So you can select whichever one you prefer.
Mhm. And then are you gonna stick around?
Yeah. I'll
Okay,
just
yeah,
stick around. If anyone's got any extra questions, let's chat. Again, I'd love to talk to you guys about specific like social media products you'd be interested in. So I can take that back to my team.
And they can be accessed very easily on the KW agents page. So
Awesome.
they're one of our primary vendors, so
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's
like,
easy.
and I love the little like homepage that you provide for each like listing. It makes it really easy to use and go back to if you need to grab photos and use them for another thing. You have to down. It's like, I know, I just find the product like really, really user friendly.
Easy, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
very easy. Yeah.
Things in the works hopefully over the
Yeah.
next year or so.
I love the twilight photos. I mean,
We
Yeah.
talk a lot about the importance of building your brand, and one of the ways you build your brand is by having top quality photos and
Mhm.
marketing material of the houses so that they're consistent from one property to the next. And so I know everything I did, I used Virtuance, and that's one of the reasons why
Mhm.
they're here as a partnership for us. So if you want to build a brand as having a high quality image of the way you do business, people look at your stuff before they decide they want to choose you most of the time.
Mhm.
So, they'll look at your ads, they'll look at your brands, they'll look at your videos, whatever it is. So this is
All
part
that
of it.
reflects on your brokerage also,
Mhm.
right? You guys are a representative of Keller Williams Portland Premier, so all of those services that you're offering to your clients really reflects the powerhouse that this brokerage is.
And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do this. We talked
Yeah.
about the idea of trying to raise the quality of everyone in the office so that, if someone was making a decision partly based on the company they were at, they would say, wow, I just love the photos that your agents are using and the videos and the
Yeah.
drone flyovers. And so that is one of the reasons.
Yeah.
And I think those numbers you showed at the beginning were really compelling. Like 85% of people are wanting to find them, and 4 times more viewings because I remember when like virtual tours came out, it was like, this was like in 2000, like literally like probably 2000, 2001. And like the rate of views for homes with virtual tours was so exponentially more than those with just photos that you had to be a fool not to use it. And when you hear 4 times as much, like that's a really compelling number. And it actually kind of solves a problem for me that I've always had, like, and maybe it's just my OCD, but I always felt compelled to walk the client through the house. I walk the viewer through the house in the tour. But the problem is you only have like 6 clicks, right? To catch their interest.
Right.
So you could not get to the good photos in time. But now with the video providing that spatial awareness of what the house is actually like, you can get to those photos quicker because people are gonna be looking at the video. So it kind of makes much more efficient.
Interesting thing I learned, and I don't know, I'd be interested to see if anyone has heard about this from you guys. So when we started announcing our video walkthrough product, I actually had a couple of professionals who were like, I actually use video walkthrough because people have told me 3D tours make them sick.
Yeah.
People like, I don't know why, I don't know if it's the spinning or like from Matterport, the dollhouse view when they zoom in, I don't know what it is, but some people literally have a hard time looking at 3D tours. So a video is how you can actually provide a lot of that similar
That's cool.
information
Mhm.
to those clients who maybe don't like looking at a 3D tour.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, round of applause for Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Cool. So we're gonna do a gear shift here, and Kelly and I and Pam and some of our other agents were there. Linda were at a mid-year economic forecast last week that we went to from one of the title companies, and it just made us want to share some of that information and some additional overall economic information with all of you guys, just to keep the conversations going, because right now our industry and mortgage rates are so affected by the overall economy. So let's kind of dig in on these, and please chime in and ask questions, and we'll go from there. So the first metric that the Fed and government look at for overall economic health is the unemployment rate. So this is the annual. So and if you see, if we're at 6%, that is like a healthy unemployment level, a good level of unemployment. They say as a rule of thumb, 4% is where everyone who wants a job could get a job. So they call it like fully employed. So even as we get closer to 4%, that's good. But anyways, go to the next slide. We'll do it monthly. Okay, so now we look at it by monthly. And it just shows that not a lot's really changing, right? So we really need the unemployment numbers to change a little bit to drive the rates down. And they're kind of just wavering around that 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. You guys want to have anything on unemployment?
No, I'd just add that you probably have heard that they want to actually drive unemployment up to be able to lower inflation. That's what the classic way to lower inflation is create more unemployment. So there aren't as many people spending as much money in the economy. And right now they're having a really difficult time doing that.
One of the things the economist said on Thursday, though, was that a lot of companies had closed some of their openings that they hadn't been able to fill or that they weren't going to expand into. So he said there is some change in that may not be apparent in these numbers.
And we said when somebody leaves a position and then companies decide not to fill it and just close out that, then it doesn't factor in towards it. And a lot of companies are doing that now. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. Okay, so the next economic indicator that the Fed looks at is GDP. So the gross domestic product, which is like the output of our economy. So on the annual, this is all quarterly. So now if you see on the very end, for Q1 of 2024, we were at 1.3%. And our goal is 2% for like a healthy economy. And you can see kind of like the COVID and then the recovery after COVID and kind of see. So we are lower than we would want to be. And this is the national number. I looked at it by state, and Oregon was similar to the national. But it was interesting because Washington and Idaho were both substantially outperforming. They were in like the 3s and the 4%. So that was just an interesting thing, that Oregon was pretty aligned with the national. Words of wisdom on GDP.
I'm surprised to see that it says that the goal for the GDP is only 2%, because historically it's 4%. So I'm really surprised to see that says 2%. So I wonder what the conversation was.
Yeah.
Because 2% is hardly growing. And our debt is going crazy. So the economy needs to grow at 6% to be able to make the debt payment. So you're probably doing that. So I'm not sure where that 2% comes from, but not a very aggressive goal, that's for sure.
We've lowered our goals. The country has lowered the goals. Yeah, that's what they say is the target. Okay. The third economic indicator is inflation, the one we hear a ton about. So if you look at it on the annualized chart, it shows like, oh, look, inflation spiked and then it's going down. It's great. But then if you flip to the monthly, you can see it's not going down very fast. So we are going the inflation is going down, but pretty slowly. No. Okay. So this is an interesting one. So this is the balance of debt of Americans, right? So right now, the blue line at the top is housing debt. And so that has increased up to over 12 million. But that's kind of anticipated over the years because you're going to have housing appreciation and you're going to expect that debt to increase as houses are more expensive. But the other one is more concerning. The pink line is non-housing debt. And while it doesn't look to be that drastic on the chart, from you know, it goes from 2 trillion to 4.8 trillion. So it does go up quite a bit. And then let's look at the next slide. It breaks that out. So why that's important. So the non-housing debt is broken up. The orange line is student loan. So that's the highest level. The blue line right below that is auto loans. The pink is credit card, and then the green is other. But what's the problem with the
Yeah,
student loan debt?
actually, yeah, if you, can we go back to the other
Oh,
slide
yeah.
real quick? So if you see the housing debt one, right? Like that is a slow changing number because like not everybody's buying houses every single day. So we're buying houses now with higher interest rates, but that increase is more have to do with like the price of homes, not the
Exactly.
interest rate being charged. But in this next slide, these numbers are absolutely affected not only by how much money people are borrowing, but the rate for which they're paying interest on that debt.
Yeah, I just with this data, I read that the average credit card interest rate right now is 26%, and then the average person has 5,200 of
Yeah.
credit card debt. But the problem with student loans specifically is that a lot of the people who have a lot of high student loans are the people that would traditionally be in the prime home buying age, right? So when you start looking at the age demographics that are tied to some of these things, and it's people in their like late 20s, mid 30s who are having like, or early 20s, late 20s, and early 30s who are having the student loan debt. That is slowing people down from home purchasing.
Yeah.
So that one's.
I think when we're done with this, maybe we should talk about affordability a little bit. How this
Yes.
plays into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will add, last night I heard that the default on credit cards right now is the highest level it's been in 10 years. And I also heard last month that 1/3 of student loans were not being paid. So there is this argument that we're nearing the end of the Fed being able to finally lower rates because we're kind of running out of gas in the economy. And those would be some of the indicators, people not being able
Yeah.
to make their credit card payments, not being able to make their student loan payments. Those people would otherwise be going on cruises and going to movies and buying
Yeah.
houses, right?
What were they saying about the Fed's two mandates? One is to slow and to keep inflation under wraps, and they have a second mandate, which has been answered up until this
Unemployment.
point. Is that unemployment? Was that it?
Employment.
Oh, employment. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so this is kind of what Joy was talking about similarly. So this is people's money as savings. So the big spike that you see towards the end is during COVID. So the government flooded all this money into the economy. People had more money than ever. People weren't going out, spending money. They were saving money. People were doing great. And then now, as you look down, we are trending towards an all-time historical low. We're almost as low as we were during the Great Recession as far as like people's personal savings. So again, that directly correlates with ability to purchase a home. So
Yeah, and who was it we had that was talking about the season, paying attention to the seasonality of things like the seasonality of the economy, the seasonality of our business within the
Tony
year.
Robbins.
Tony, but somebody else said it too. But this would be part of that awareness is you see that if personal disposable income is going down and we're having defaults on credit cards at a 10-year high, and we're having 1/3 of the student loans not being paid, it seems like, at least from some of these metrics, we're getting close to having the rates go down.
Mhm.
For our industry, I would say we might have been through the worst. We might see some more negative things because there are fewer people that are going to be able to buy houses. But if the rates go down to compensate for that, more people will be buying houses.
Mhm. So
More
let's have,
people that are just sitting on the sidelines right now.
let's have that affordability conversation maybe now.
Right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because so at the Economist, who, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name, but he was from First American out of DC. He was their chief economist.
Mhm.
But But he brought up some really good points about how it's not so much a
Interest rate issue.
issue. It's an inventory issue overall, and that is going to continue to affect the affordability
Mhm.
because I think they're predicting right now that we're like 4 to 5 million new homes short across America.
Yeah.
Right, of what we should be at. So there's just not enough houses. So even if the interest rates dropped, there would be so many more buyers coming into the market, and houses would be, we'd have multiple offers and things going over asking. So you end up basically at the same. So it's not so much an interest rate problem, it's an affordability and
Mhm.
inventory problem.
Yeah, they say, what he said was, we never recovered from the slowdown of building from the Great Recession.
Mhm.
And so we're still, no builder's feeling bullish enough to catch up. And so there's all this demand for housing. You couple that with high interest rates and the fact that everybody just bought at a historically low interest rates. So they're hesitant to move. And so you couple those two things together and you come up with like probably the least affordable housing like situation that we've ever seen. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a slide in here, nationally on new construction, but I took it out because, it's.
Yeah.
it's
And then,
national level,
and then on
but-
a local level here, where our affordability is even worse. So if you were to imagine affordability as like in a graph, right? And in a perfect world, if you made this much, you could buy this much house. And if you made this much, you could buy this much house, right? But in our market, it doesn't work that way. Like if you make this much, you can't buy a house. And so, but if you make this much, you can buy this much house. So our line isn't a straight line. It's heavily sloped up like this because housing in Portland, Seattle, LA, San Francisco, everyone on the West Coast, in the big cities, housing is so expensive.
Mhm.
And so the graph is not really kind to first-time home buyers, which is like the trigger point, right? Because the first-time home buyer purchases a house and they buy it from somebody who's probably moves up to a nicer house,
Mhm.
and they probably move up to a nicer house and so on and so forth. And so we're kind of stagnant.
Yeah, he gave the numbers that like in San Francisco, it is 5% of the home buyers
Mhm.
can afford 95% of the houses.
Mhm.
So that means the other 5% of houses that are maybe affordable, the other 95% of
Right.
people have to buy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I kind of,
But
I know what you're saying.
yeah, it was.
If you invert that.
It was really interesting looking at it like that. I'd never really looked at like affordability like that as a percentage. And I mean, when you start looking at cities that were
Mhm.
aligned closer to it,
Yeah.
San Francisco is probably
Yeah.
closer, comparison than the
Yeah.
national average.
I was, ironically, a friend texted me yesterday. Riley is 30 years old, software salesman. He makes a bunch of money. And he sent me an article that he saw from Zillow that said like, truly, you'd have to put like the typical person would have to put 36% down to afford a home. And that's a huge down payment, right? And he's like, so how does this apply to me? I'm like, well, Riley, you make good money, right? Probably doesn't really apply to you because you can qualify from
30% of their money, right?
no,
Or-
30%. They put
Oh.
36% down,
Oh, to
right?
be able to afford it.
which is huge. It's a huge down payment, right? But we were talking about affordability and I would just said like, in Portland, it's affordable for you, may not be affordable for somebody else. We're not like Phoenix or Vegas or even Boise, right? Because we have the UGB and we have hills everywhere, right? So it's like, it's really difficult to build there.
Waterways.
And waterways and like, our land is limited. We're a little bit landlocked. So
Mhm.
makes it hard to be affordable here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, continue on. So home sales, this is an interesting one because it's showing that from like 2021 to 2023, home sales were down 2 million, which is like a similar correlation to 2006 to 2008. So not quite as extreme, but if it feels like we're selling less houses, it's because we are, right? Overall.
Mhm.
Okay, now this is an interesting one. So this breaks it out monthly. So, okay, let's start at the top. So that little black chart, does anyone know where that's from? The Shift book. So, this is a graph from Shift of just like the overall seasonality of real estate transactions and income as a realtor as it's been for all these different years. So, right, like As houses go on the market in the spring, summer, you make more money, and then you kind of like dip off at the end of the year. Okay, so now that was trends that had been tracked over years and years and years. So now let's look at what's happening in the last 3 years. And what do you notice? There's not really seasonality, right? Like, where is the seasonality? Where is the trend, right? 2022, you definitely didn't see it in the green. The orange, not really. 2023 and 2024, not really. And those numbers are like annualized numbers for the millions of in millions of how many homes you would sell for the year.
It feels like we sold just 4.3 homes.
I
It's
know.
really more than
So that would mean like we're pacing to sell
Uh-huh.
4.14 million this year. Is what that means. But basically, for the last couple of years, we haven't had our normal seasonality. So that's going to be interesting to watch this spring, right? We felt like a little blip of, I think a lot of our agents got busy over the last couple of months, and then talking to a lot of you guys, it's like, wait, it's been slower than it's, so I think it's just going to be really interesting to watch and see if we get that. I would say our seasonality in Oregon is even typically in a normal traditional year more seasonal because of our weather patterns, right?
We've talked in the past about getting your houses on the market earlier in the year versus later in the year, and this is good evidence of it. Look at February compared to even March and April for last year and this year. So, when you have people that are calling you at the end of the year saying, hey, can we get together? Because I'm thinking about putting my home on the market next year in the spring or summer. It's important to be able to have that conversation about changing their timeline to getting it on the market in January, so it's available in February.
Yeah. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this shows just national home prices, the average national home price over the years. And if you took the long-term average, which is 4%, and that's the green trend line, you'll see that like right now nationally, we're about 9% above the trend, but it feels like we're more. But this kind of illustrates that if you take in like just like natural appreciation over time, what would typically we would see, we're 9% above the trend. So that is in 2023, the average home price was $390. So for ours, for Keller Williams Portland Premier right now, year to date, we are like just at 600,000 on the nose. And then I just pulled up RMLS for May, and the average was 601. So literally like 600 is like our average here at our office and in the Portland metro area, the RMLS metro area. So, we still have a much higher average than nationally, if you're looking at it that way, right? So if we're selling a lower quantity of houses, we're making up for it in sales price. Inventory. This is the annual chart that goes through 2023, just so you kind of see over time. Go to the next one, look at it monthly. So monthly, the third column is 2024. So we have more inventory in 2024 nationally. Who knows what ours is locally last month? Yeah, it was 2.7 for RMLS overall. And then it was for the Portland metro area, it was 2.3. So a little bit less than the national average, but trending to be higher than we have been in the last couple of years. Okay, mortgage rates. This is that, chart to help normalize that we're never going back to 3% rates, right? That if you look at the historical average from 1972, it's like a little over 7%. But if you go from 1990 to 2021, the average is 5.97. So that's getting to be a harder conversation, but basically we just have to get it out of our heads that we're not going to get.
Well, if you think about the current housing situation we're in, if rates went down to 5.97, you know how expensive homes would get all of a sudden. Like you would have a rush to the market, and it would be, so if if you have clients that are saying, I want to wait to buy till the rates get down below 6, they'll thank you if you can convince them to buy now, because if they go down to 6, they can refinance, and they'll have all that equity they get when they do go to 6, right? It'll be a huge financial win. So I don't know if you have people who are like talking to you saying, well, I'm just waiting for rates to go down. Like, I think that that's fool's gold in this market. I think you're
Right.
really going to lose out on opportunities. So get priced out.
Yeah, it's like a mindset shift now that like, not that it doesn't matter, but it's because we have the
Mhm.
inventory restraints that are going to continue now.
Yeah.
for-
And people
for
don't
the
understand the economy.
Unforeseen
I
future.
have a client waiting for the crash.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Somebody was saying, I think I was having a conversation with
Good.
Kevin, and he said that you talked to somebody, you said he was waiting for like rates to get into 3s or something like that.
No, I said, well, we're waiting for it to crash. In my mind, I said, well, if it crashes, it's a job.
Yeah, like most likely, right? And he's not wrong. Like, I really believe he's 100% right on that.
Yeah. So yeah, this year, kind of like Brian said, we've just been hovering around 6 to 7. You know, there's some analysts that think that once we get to like 6, we'll have like,
Yeah, that's
It'll
the
be-
optimum spot.
that's the
Yeah.
optimal spot for, before we like, if it goes any lower, we're the optimal
Mhm.
interest rate, right? For right now, because, without it becoming a frenzy of multiple offers and 100,000 over asking and everything's way.
I think he thought like on a historical perspective, 6 was always like the healthiest
like a
number,
healthy-
but it meant that it was like we're really balanced economically at 6. I think if we were at 6 today, it would be
frenzy.
yeah, it'd be crazy. Yeah.
Kev,
Talk about a number that's like the lock-in. Yeah, that's the thing.
that was, he's at like 6. That's kind of like what we started.
They would be incentivized to sell their home.
Maybe we're gonna see, and let me just kind of recap that
Yeah.
for those who don't know. So there's this thing that a lot of economists now are calling the lock-in effect, and that is where so many people have bought houses or refinanced, right? I think it's like 86% of people have mortgages that are under 5%, and then like most of those are like under 3% or something crazy. So those people are not just gonna buy a house for the heck of it because they like that side of the street better. They want like one extra bathroom, right? There's gonna have to be more like life circumstances that draw that motivation. So it's this lock-in effect that a lot of people are in, right? And so it's funny because a lender asked like that exact question there. And he said he thought maybe, or I think he said below 6.
Yeah, I think he said like below 6, he would loosen up the market to where people in the 3s and mid 3s would move.
Right.
But how does he figure that? I have no idea, but like, it's a good idea.
Mhm.
It's a fun
Yeah.
concept.
I mean, that's real, but I mean, eventually you get cramped with your kids. You want a bigger backyard.
Mhm.
Somebody's gets a job on the other side of town. There's always going to be those reasons,
Mhm.
but yeah, the lock-in effect is going to be real for a while, probably. Especially because it was like those lower rates were so normalized,
Mhm.
right?
Well,
And-
and a lot of people bought a house just because it was a family. It wasn't the house they would want.
Mhm.
It was just like they got a house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah. And so they're probably getting wary of it.
Yeah,
And I think it's true for the current higher rates as well, because they're buying what they can afford. Right, so
Mhm.
they're probably getting less house than they might want.
Yeah.
When-
Certainly your first time buyer is making concessions for sure.
yeah, they a lot of times too, like, it's like what happens in California where people can't afford the house in their own neighborhood, right? Because like with interest rates and appreciation, so then people get like that's a different kind of lock-in,
Mhm.
but right, that same kind of like lock-in effect.
Mhm.
Any questions on the economic slides or information? Do you guys like hearing stuff like this? And I think it's important just to kind of like, and I'll share the slides in the Facebook group. For you to, if you want to show your clients and things like that. But I think it's important to look at because everything is affecting
Yeah.
our industry right
Well,
now.
and while we have everybody here, like anecdotally, like what are you feeling in the market this last week? Like, how are you guys all feeling? Does it feel hot? Does it feel slow? Like, what do you guys? Go ahead.
very.
few showings.
Whereas like 3 weeks ago, we listed property and solar that paid off.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that too, Ramona?
Well, it's just crazy out there. Some properties get multiple lots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly think there's little micro markets inside these markets for sure. It seems like from what I'm seeing, like the high end, like things that used to be 2.6 are like 2 or 1.9 now. It's crazy at the high end to see how much those things have come down. I was thinking about your listing the other day on Cheryl, and I was thinking, man, this feels like it'd be 2.3 or 2.5 last year. And this year, like it might, 2 million is a great price on that. Like, I'm like, I wish I had 2 million to buy a house right now. Because I feel like it feels like a great value compared to what we've been buying at, right? So it's an interesting little.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to dig into one of these upcoming meetings, is just like the different sectors, like on the Altos of like the luxury and different, and like
Mhm.
what's happening
Yeah,
in
it's
each
just
sector.
all puzzle brackets, 500 to 2 million.
Yeah.
350 condo, 500,
Mhm.
multi village to $2 million house, and they all have the same activity, which is very.
Interesting.
So
And we
interesting.
had two buyer terminations in the
Mhm.
last couple days.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, so I think we'll keep collaborating and keep sharing on what we're feeling, just so, because it is all over the place, right? And then you have the weird, like, school got out, or people on vacation,
Yeah.
people just so excited
Hot
to
weather,
have
first hot
sun,
weather of the year.
right? The first chance of sun. But yeah,
I still think one of the best pre-listing tools you have is coming soon status.
Yeah.
Because that gives you a 3-week buffer of letting agents know that there's a house that's gonna be on the way.
Yeah.
And I think if you're gonna drive
I agree.
attention, get it in as a coming soon, no showing status. That's 3 weeks of ringing the dinner bell for other agents.
Yeah. I agree.
If you don't use it, if you don't know what it is, go learn about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good tool too.
good point.
Yep.
Tim,
Just next week's gonna be a short condensed week, but I'm gonna be presenting on next Tuesday, on real estate at auction.
to
Oh, you're
give,
on Tuesday?
to
Good.
give our clients another option, right?
Yeah.
Where you still get commission, right? Tim's gonna talk all about it. I think sometimes we think of like, oh wait, like is an auction our competitor, but
Yeah.
no, there's ways to.
Like if you have a client that, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but like if you had a client to ask you about an iBuyer, I think this is a really good, another option.
Yeah.
To make it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap us up, I don't want to do this part,
Mhm.
but I do feel like I have to tell you guys. Our awesome Kelly has decided that he's going to pursue an opportunity with one of our teams, Dara Bodle's team. He has a really good opportunity. So we're obviously very devastated, crushed,
No, don't be crushed.
disappointed. No, I'm just
No
kidding.
crushing.
We are happy to support his
Yeah.
personal professional growth. I think
Thank
it's
you.
really important. It like fits into the culture of KW of we always want to be growing, and we want our people to be growing
Yeah.
professionally and into things that push us in different ways. So we are starting the search for our new managing principal broker. We've had a couple good internal candidates step up, so that is exciting. Kelly's gonna help with that. Kelly's not gonna leave us until we have somebody up and running and in place, so it's a super smooth transition.
And
And
he'll be around because he's at
he's
KW.
still gonna be here.
Yep. Yeah, like what you two have built here is like, and I've noticed this in my time being here, it's like every time somebody leaves, they leave what they were good at behind, and the new person comes in and makes it better. And there's no reason to think that's not gonna happen here, because you guys have built something really good here. So
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
I told him, he
Bigger.
told me and I had to process it. I had like a day of, or like a couple days of, like, nope, not accepting this. Now I've accepted it. I'm like, okay, I think we can do this.
yeah, well,
We just have a couple days of trying to talk him out of it,
yeah.
now we've,
And
because, a lot of our agents love you and we
And-
love you. But
And
we
ironically, I'm
love you.
literally gonna miss your problems, ironically. I will.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
You can answer the broker hotline one day a week
Yeah.
for the old time's sake.
Yeah, we'll see.
You've got his number, keep calling him.
Thank you, Miss
We'll
Sun.
send him to voicemail.
So nothing changes like today, tomorrow,
Yeah.
next month, you know what I mean? Like, Kelly's still teaching contract
Yeah.
mastery in July. Things are still good, but we just want to make sure You guys are all aware.
Correct.
Mentally prepared, I'm just kidding. Kelly said one time, he goes, yeah, you're always get like, staff
Every
that
time it
makes
gets
things
better.
Better, and
It's
so I
true.
was like, fine, okay, we're gonna get
Yeah.
someone better.
It's true.
Fine,
You will.
fine, but no, we wish Kelly all the best.
Yeah.
But he's not really going anywhere yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
that's it, I got it all out, even though I didn't want to. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys.
and Come to all the things.
And
Come to
enjoy the summer.
10:21 class tomorrow, yes. Come to contract mastery.
Contract mastery. Only a few of those left.
Yeah.